Steve Buchanan and his boss discuss their longest-running case, Case 880, which only involves fake $1 bills, each with a self-evident mistake. Wahsington is spelled Washington. Out of respect for their perpetrator, they nickname him Mr. 880. The counterfeit notes passed by him are called 880s. Buchanan goes back to the original first case, but is stretching people's memories. He begins to suspect a woman, and Winslow, rather than a man, and starts dating her to find out more. But early in the investigation she is told he works for the Secret Service. She is interested in him romantically, but needs a lot of false clues linking to her, potentially being a counterfeit. They fall in love. Steve is offered a job in France as forgery of dollars. There is also an increase. He decides to turn it down, partly due to him, and partly due to the unresolved Case 880. However, it is and not Steve who works out who Mr. 880 is, her elderly friend Skipper. She is very fond of Skipper and does not wish to see him go to prison.
This is counterfeit money. Counterfeiting began a few minutes after the first appearance of currency in the world. It's been going on ever since. It goes on today, but at a rapidly declining rate. The reason for the decline is the efficiency of the United States Secret Service. A branch of the Treasury Department, the Secret Service is made up of intelligent, conscientious men who work quietly, anonymously, and with lightning effectiveness. Because of their constant vigilance, it is almost impossible for a counterfeiter to remain in business very long without being caught. Sometimes it takes violence. Sometimes arrests are made peaceably. Seldom do they fail. Yet despite all the efforts of their vast organization, there was one counterfeiter who eluded the Secret Service longer than any other in their history. He was known as case number 880. As years went on, and it became the oldest unsolved case, they began to refer to it, in good-natured respect for a skillful adversary, as Mr. 880. The responsibility for his apprehension fell to the most active of the many Secret Service offices in the country, the one in New York. Because 880's activities were so aggravatingly unprofessional, he had them stumped. To add to their chagrin, the bills he produced were ridiculously inept.
Gallagher, if you were a shopkeeper, would you accept that as legal tender?
I'd have to be blind.
Now and then, when patience ran out, they would call in a troubleshooter, an agent from one of their other offices. This time, it was Steve Buchanan from the Los Angeles office.
So far, he's averaged less than $50 a month. Can't say the man's been greedy. Guess that's why he's been tough to catch. Of course, what's tougher is the $1 bill. We'll never educate people to examine $1 bills. Obviously, he's an amateur. Common bond paper, I think you can buy in any stationery store.
Take a good look.
This is practically insulting.
In the past 10 years, when we've been looking for that pest, this office has arrested and convicted 1,385 counterfeiters. We've broken up some of the most vicious gangs.
You don't
that
have to sell yourself to me, Thad.
Just selling myself to myself, I guess. That's what 880 does to you.
Let me ask you a question. You've evidently covered every angle and followed up every lead. What makes you think I can crack this?
I don't. The idea came from Washington.
Washington?
Yes. The chief thinks we've gone stale. Thinks it needs a fresh mind. Somebody with patience and determination. He suggested you.
Well, after 4 months with the butcher boy, this might come under the heading of fun and frolic.
I warn you, it won't. Look, if you want out, Steve, I can fix it.
Let me kick it around for a couple of days. I might hit on an angle.
A couple of days, huh? We've been working on it for 10 years, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Remember, I warned you.
I know you're busy, but I'm rechecking all the people who got stuck. Yours was one of the first bills reported. You haven't had any hunches since then as to who it might have been.
Well, that was 10 years ago. Mean to say you never caught that guy?
Nope.
I got no hunches, mister. 10 years? Hey, what have you guys been doing all this time? Playing pinochle?
I tell you one thing sure, I'll never get hooked again. No, sir, not me. Why, you could call me an expert on money. Yes, you could.
Whose picture's on a $10 bill?
$10? Sure, that's easy. A president of some kind. Let me see, I should know that one.
Here, read this. Tells you how to spot counterfeit money.
Morning, Gus.
Hiya, Skipper. Same thing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, Skipper, here's your change.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you see this?
What's that?
A miniature spinning wheel.
Don't look practical to me.
Not practical.
Okay, Skipper.
Thought you examined all bills.
Why, the Skipper's an old friend of mine.
It's okay.
Hi, Skipper. How's the junk business?
Junk? What do you mean, junk? I deal only in antiques.
I'm coming. Oh, Skipper, it's beautiful.
For your mantelpiece.
Simply beautiful. My grandma had one just like it. Full size, of course. How much is it?
Oh, $3.
$3? Oh, it must be worth much more than that. What did it cost you?
Me? Pleasant walk. Argument with Rosie. $2 in cash.
Oh, that's quite an investment. Here's $5. Keep it. Skipper, look. Isn't it sweet?
Looks lonely. I asked Rosie to dig up a mate.
Heavens, I'll be late. Skipper. Thank you.
You always leave your door open, Skipper.
Thank you, Maggie.
Oh!
You old rascal. Ah.
Your door was open. I came in.
Why, bless my soul, it's Doc Duff.
Glad to see you, Doc. You still owe me that $20 I came to collect.
$20?
Yeah, for your dog. I cured him of distemper. Maybe you've forgotten it, but I haven't.
Yeah, and a fine job you did too, Doc, yes. And this dog's got a heart full of gratitude.
Has he got 20 bucks?
Ha, that's a good one, that is. No, he hasn't, but I have. Yeah. I'm sorry they've kept you waiting, Doc. And I really forgot all about it. Oh, go away, please. Go on. His name's Please. Funny thing about that. I started out being polite to him. Now he's spoiled. Won't come unless you say please. Doggone it. I must have spent that money. No. Oh, here. Here's $5 on account. I'll let you have the rest.
I don't want 5. I want what you owe me.
Well, I'm sorry, but I haven't got it at the moment.
Why don't you sell some of this junk here and pay your debts?
Oh, I couldn't do that. They're old friends. Don't you worry. You'll get paid, Doc. Come back in a couple of days. I give you my word, in a couple of days...
I had your word last time. You handed me a cock and bull story about getting it from a rich cousin or somebody.
Oh, no, that's no cock and bull story. But you see, I don't like to go to Cousin Henry. Except in an emergency.
Well, this is an emergency, Mr. Miller. If I don't get that money in the morning, you'll hear from my lawyer.
Oh, now, that's a shame. We shouldn't have kept that poor man waiting. Well, looks like we've got to go to Cousin Henry after all. Come on. Thank you, Henry.
Kingsbridge Heights.
Kingsbridge Heights.
Norwood.
Norwood. Well, so far, so good. The subway runs all through here. Any bills turned in by the ART?
Yes, sir. Oh, and, here's another one.
I'm convinced he still lives in that same neighborhood. When he went to Staten Island, we had one from the ferry. Last week, he was in...
Flatbush.
Flatbush. And the bill was reported by the BMT.
Hey, that's pretty clever.
Give me the next batch, Gallagher.
Dad, why don't you save the boy some heartbreak? He's planning to stalk the beast in his original lair.
That'd be foolish, I suppose.
A sheer waste of brilliant manpower.
Another 880 was just reported. From a taxi stand down off Washington Square. The driver, here's his name, knows exactly who gave it to him.
He does, huh? Looks like the beast is still down there, Mac. What a break. Gallagher, put that stuff in the file.
Think you'll need any help?
Could use some.
Mac, go along with him.
Come on, chum. With your brains and my luck, this'll be a breeze.
Please, Dad, I've given a whole year of my life.
Come on.
I checked over at the house. That's her name, all right, Ann Winslow.
Ann Winslow.
Yeah. There she is now.
Come on.
She wants a cab.
Not you. Go ahead.
What if she gives me another phony?
Take it.
Say, look, I'm out $1 already.
This one's on me.
She gave the taxi driver silver. Look out now, here she comes, she comes.
See that bill you just got? That bill you just got. Let's see it. This bill is counterfeit. You should learn to spot this stuff. I'll give you a receipt for it. Counterfeit coins are greasy. You don't bite them, you feel them. Here.
Carlo, there's a rush on.
Seen Anne yet?
Here she comes now.
I finished it, Mr. Beddington.
Oh, you did?
I
Good.
typed half the night, and I told Carlos there was a rush on
Oh,
it.
fine. Thanks, Anne. Where's Jack?
En prenant la parole, je tiens d'abord à souligner que je suis en parfait accord avec les déclarations que vient de faire mon honorable collègue. Et maintenant que l'on m'a demandé ce qu'il faut penser des problèmes d'une Europe à unifier, j'ajouterai que ces problèmes ne peuvent certainement pas être minimisés, mais ne doivent pas non plus être aggravés par une présentation erronée des faits et des idées. Les problèmes et les difficultés ne sont pas seulement constitués par des habitudes toujours difficiles à changer, surtout lorsqu'elles sont mauvaises. Il est un fait qui est à la base même de ces difficultés que nous désirons tous ici réduire à un strict minimum, de manière à aboutir à cette réalité, une Europe unifiée. C'est de permettre à nouveau aux citoyens moyens de n'importe quel pays d'Europe de voyager librement pour gagner sa vie comme il l'entend, quand il le veut et comme il le veut. Ai-je besoin de rappeler qu'il y a fort peu d'années encore, cette statue de la liberté dont nous sommes si près représentait encore...
If that chick's 880, she must have started counterfeiting in grammar school.
I'd say in about the 6th grade. Who said she was 880? There's a pretty good chance, though, that she could lead us right to him.
Oh? Could she?
We got two choices. We either shadow the lady or we cultivate her.
And you like cultivating her?
Naturally. On your toes, Mac. one cocktail. There's no percentage in being a knight in armor anymore.
Poor Sir Lancelot.
At least drink it slowly and make it last.
I don't want to seem ungrateful, but I was quite prepared to deal with the situation myself.
You would have been half as effective.
Perhaps not.
What's your name?
And Winslow. But at least I would have found out where a thing like that leads to.
I can tell you.
No thanks. I'd rather be surprised.
Who are you? Anyone special?
Special?
I mean, do you work at anything? Or...
Oh, I'm a French interpreter at the United Nations.
Well.
Would you believe it? This is the first time a thing like this has happened since I've been in New York. I was beginning to wonder about myself.
Well, don't tell me you haven't even been whistled at.
Oh, yes, lots of times, but it's not the same. It's too impersonal.
I see what you mean.
Oh, yes, I've been whistled at. As a matter of fact, I've done some whistling of my own. In a quiet, ladylike way, of course. What's your name?
Buchanan. Steve Buchanan.
Are you anyone special?
Just someone out to make a fast buck.
Who isn't? Well, I didn't mean that. Neither did you. A fast buck implies dishonesty. Doesn't it?
Uh-huh. What's the matter?
Why?
Well, you were staring at me.
I'm sorry, it's a habit I picked up in New York. I stare at people. I keep thinking they look familiar. It comes from seeing too many unfamiliar faces. Well, that's not as twisted as it sounds. You see, in a small town, each face has a definite association. It's clearly pigeonholed in your mind. Here, a million of them get mixed up in a crazy sort of... Every day I nod to a familiar face I never saw before.
I'll bet if you had one more drink, the whole thing would become as clear as a bell.
Might get more muddled.
When you were staring at me before, do you know what I was hoping?
What?
That you were whistling. In a quiet, ladylike way, of course. Well, I said I was hoping.
Well, perhaps I will have another drink.
Great. Things are picking up for good old Lancelot. It is. And between dances, they play soft violins at your table. Would you like that?
I'd like it. Here it is.
Tomorrow evening, 7:30. Good night.
Good night. Carlos.
Now that I see the cause of it all, you're forgiven.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I hope you haven't been waiting long.
Oh, about an hour. It doesn't matter.
I'm terribly sorry. This friend of mine, we just happened to bump into each other.
This friend of yours certainly does a lot of bumping in the course of a day. Here it is. There are 3 copies. He almost knocked me over this morning.
Mr. Buchanan?
He hit me so hard I thought it was deliberate. I realize now he probably was in such a hurry to catch up with you.
What do you mean?
It was in the lobby this morning, right after I left, you remember?
This morning?
He certainly made a beeline for the door. Apparently he did catch up with you. Good night.
I beg your pardon, but I was here yesterday.
Yes, of course, I remember.
And I was curious to know what happened when the policeman...
Oh, nothing. He didn't arrest him. Seems he was with the Treasury Department.
Treasury Department?
Yes, Secret Service agent. He showed the policeman his credentials and he let him go. I thought his behavior was rather strange.
Thank you very much. Not at all. Thanks so much. Bye. Rector 2, 9100. Mr. Beddington.
Federal Office, Building Secret Service Division.
Steve Buchanan. Please.
Thank you.
Would you take this to 44, please?
Buchanan speaking. Hello? Hello?
Oh, ask him to send it right back.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Mr. Bennington, when I applied for this job, wasn't I thoroughly checked?
Of course you were. Why?
Can you think of any reason why the United States Secret Service would be after me?
Oh, they'd have nothing to do with your job here.
I met a man yesterday, and I just found out he's a Secret Service agent.
The two chief functions of the Secret Service are to guard the president and catch counterfeiters. I'm safe in assuming you're not the president.
I'm suspected of being a counterfeiter.
Oh, chances are a counterfeit bill fell into your hands. You passed it on to someone who reported you. It happened to a friend of mine once. They watched him for a few days, decided he was innocent, and suddenly dropped him. Never heard from them again. You'll probably have the same experience.
Thank you. He's a very attractive man. I don't think I'd like to be dropped so suddenly. Come in. The door's unlocked. Hello.
Remember me?
Mm-hmm. You're the man girls whistle at.
I had a bad day, not one whistle.
Good evening.
A vision, a veritable vision.
Thank you. I'm just about ready. Make yourself at home. I'll be with you in a minute.
All right.
I'm ready. Shall we go?
Yes.
Oh.
Even to the death, as though you were my blood. In all your quarrels will I be your knight.
Lancelot said that to Elaine.
Yep.
That's the girl he ditched.
He did. By golly, you're right. And I spent hours last night trying to memorize it. You know, I just thought of the first two lines of a limerick.
I like limericks.
There once was a fellow named Lancelot, whose girlfriends insisted he dance a lot. He...
If that's a hint, I'll try to control myself.
Well, I won't know till I finish the limerick. It may turn out he's a fiend for dancing. That's not real, is it?
What? What'd you think it was, a boodle of queer? I mean, it's perfectly obvious what it is. Is there any more wine?
A boodle of queer, huh?
Excuse, please. I came to ask if there is a special number.
Oh, merci, c'est très gentil à vous d'être venu me trouver. Voulez-vous me jouer un air avec beaucoup de sentiments? Par exemple, Hold Me?
Madame, c'est un plaisir.
Merci. He's going to play Hold Me.
It took a heap of yucking to make that deal. You having fun?
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet you are. Waiter. Would you mind if I made a phone call?
Not at all. Would you mind if I powdered my nose?
Why, not at all.
This is the third time he's played Hold Me, waiting for us to dance.
Well, let's not disappoint the man. How did you find out who I was?
I believe you told me. Steve Buchanan, isn't it?
A boodle of queer. The word boodle hasn't been used since the Civil War.
Really? Now, I wonder how I came to use it.
You found it in a book published in 1870 that you took out of the library this morning. This came off your Michigan bankbook. It's good American currency. You made a big show of looking guilty. Why?
Well, it seems silly that you'd suspect me of counterfeiting. I thought I'd give you ample cause.
You weren't very good at it.
I suppose I could be arrested for flouting the law.
Yes, you could.
Shall we go now? Or shall we finish the dance?
I'll call the shots. Until further notice, you're being held in technical custody. Passed 2 of his bills. Where did you get them?
Aren't you ruling me out as a suspect too soon?
I never rule anybody out. I'll assume for the time being they fell into your hands by accident. How?
I don't know.
Think back over the past week. What did you do? Where'd you go?
Let me see. I generally ride the subway, except in business, and then I take a taxi. I have lunch in the cafeteria, tea in the coffee shop. Twice a week I shop at Macy's and Saks, and go to a little bookstore on Madison Avenue. Every Friday I have my hair done, and on Tuesday...
I want you to remember where you got $1 bills in change.
I haven't the faintest notion. They're playing just for us. I'm terribly sorry, Steve. I honestly don't remember.
But, Mac, for 10 years he followed a definite pattern, going from one section of the map to another in regular order. Here, let me show you. Now, Flatbush was his last stop. His next should be Borough Park, then Bay Ridge, and then Benson.
What about the girl, Steve? Are you through with her?
She's under constant surveillance. Now, I went to Borough Park just yesterday, and the first express stop there is Webster Avenue.
You'd need 30, 40 men to cover a whole neighborhood.
Ah, not necessarily, Mac. You see, we found out that his behavior followed a definite pattern, too. He favored certain places. He seemed to like a busy drugstore, an automat if there is one, a beer joint, a cigar store. These 4, mind you, these 4 had the highest percentages. Now, I picked out 4 spots in Borough Park.
How do we know when he's going to be there?
We don't.
We just sit around for hours, for days maybe, praying.
That's the deal.
Holy smokes, I've played long shots in my time.
All right, okay. If anybody here's got a sure thing, I'll go along.
Look, we haven't had a sure thing on 880 in 10 years and never will have. Go ahead, Steve.
I know it's a long shot, Mac, but... Well, it'd be a shame to waste all this research now, wouldn't it?
Tell them about Coney Island.
Coney Island.
we found out that every year, practically on the same Sunday in the same month, he went to Coney Island. Let's see, he liked the roller coaster, the fun house, and the whip. So, children, come next Sunday. If we haven't nabbed him by then, we're all going to Coney Island.
Goody, goody.
All right, let's get back to Borough Park. I briefed the cashiers, but you know what that's worth. They just won't be bothered with $1 bills. So we'll have to keep our eyes open for anybody that looks suspicious. Now, you know the kind. The fellow that tries to get out fast doesn't stop to count his change. Or in the automat, the one who gets his nickels, but doesn't stop to eat. And if we have any kind of luck, just the least bit of luck, I know we'll get that.
No suspicious-looking characters, huh?
Only hungry ones. She's a big help. For the first hour, she examined every bill carefully. After that, look at her.
They're all the same. I guess it's a lost cause, Mac.
Not for me. I'm doing research. In an average 8-hour day, that girl handles 18,240 nickels. That's worth knowing.
I'll be up the street.
Candy, please. Remarkable. She never makes a mistake. Fast as lightning, too. You ought to watch her sometime.
Mousy.
I ain't passing this stuff no more, Mr. McIntyre. Honest, I ain't.
Come on over here. Let me see that last bill you got. This is a 5. Are you sure this is it?
Sure it is. She give me 4 singles and the rest in change. Here it is.
He's right. I remember him.
Mousy, what were you running out like that for? You came in here to eat, didn't you?
I always get nervous when I see you, Mr. McIntyre.
Okay, Mousy. Hey, Mousy.
A phony. It's one of the bills she gave me. Well, you got me so nervous. Can you imagine me taking a queer? A guy that was shoving the stuff wouldn't hang around. Would he, Mr. McIntyre?
I'll be over at the cigar store.
Okay.
Hey, I don't lose the buck, do I?
Now you know how it feels, Mousy.
Oh, ihr lieben kleine Hund. Ah.
Yep, it's an 80, all right.
Passed one right under my nose.
Max, somebody right in front of him gave her this bill. Can you remember who it was?
The only one I can remember is an old geezer. Nah, it couldn't have been him. He wore the buffaloes off the nickels counting them.
You sure?
Yeah. He hung around the place too long for his shover.
And you better tell the boys he's in the neighborhood. Make sure they're awake.
I gotta hand it to you, Steve. I thought you were way off base.
This is the closest we ever... If he sticks to form, he should be in here any minute.
Oh, that is good. Good. Oh, wiedersehen, Pupsi. Wiedersehen.
Hey, you want to see the parade?
Yeah!
I do too. Come on. Come on. Let's see the parade.
Poor 880. He escaped your clutches in Borough Park, but I've a distinct feeling he's doomed. I've got the feeling that you're the type that's dogged. The kind that hangs on until he...
I think I finally got it.
Got what?
The rest of that limerick, listen. There once was a fellow named Lancelot, whose girlfriends insisted he dance a lot. But his armor had riveting so bad that when pivoting, the poor guy kept losing his pants a lot.
It's wonderful. You stuck to it until you finally got it, didn't you?
A boodle of queer.
I know a great deal about counterfeiting now. I've read all those books from cover to cover.
Incidentally, you never did tell me how you found out who I was.
The woman in the art store turned out to be a friend of mine.
Oh, say, that's mighty slick.
Huh. Counterfeiting wasn't a very healthy occupation in the old days, was it? They used to cut off your ears.
Noses, too.
You'd like to see that done today, wouldn't you?
Well, noses might be overdoing it. What are you doing tomorrow?
The skipper has to take a flock of kids to the zoo.
The skipper? Oh, yes, the old boy. He's quite a character.
I promised to go with him.
Gee, that's too bad. I have to go to Coney Island on official business. It's in connection with 880. I thought maybe you'd... Say, do you think the skipper would pass up the zoo if I took him to Coney Island?
I'm sure he would. He'd love it, and so would the kids, and so would I. We're going to that movie. We'd better get started.
It's amazing how much good money there is in circulation.
Only spotted a couple of Mexican quarters.
Did he make a pinch?
He's a 6-year-old with a nose full of freckles. I think I'll go over and check with George.
All right, don't be bashful, lady. Come on, step right up. He who hesitates is lost. Fool the expert and win a souvenir. Well, I don't think you can, lady. It's only 25 cents, 1/4 part of a be with you in a minute, bud, soon as I finish with the lady.
Ah, go on, it's a fake. They fixed the scale.
Just a minute, mister. You say it's a fake. You say I got a gimme. Tell you what I'm going to do. No hands on the scales, no hands on this charming lady. I say this little bundle from heaven weighs 114.5 pounds. All right, ladies, sit down, make yourselves comfortable. This won't hurt a bit. Now, let's see, 115 pounds. Yes, sir. Must have some hidden charms invisible to the naked eye. All right, that's 25 cents, 1/4 part of a dollar. There you are, sir. There's your change.
What's
all
a
right.
racket?
No racket, mister, no racket. Now, who's next? What do you say? This little girl here. All right, come on, little girl. Here you are, right.
They wanted to go on the roller coaster.
The roller coaster?
watch out. Let me through here, please. I'll be right with you. Yes, sir. You want a dog one, buddy? All right, that's 25 cents, 1/4 part of a dollar. Yes, sir. $1. 75 cents.
Well, Coney Island sure was a bust. Let's hope we have better luck in Bay Ridge.
Look, Steve, the Baroda case is coming to a head. I'm afraid I'm going to have to put George and Ole back on it.
Okay.
Mac can go on working with you for a while. He's developed into quite a fan of yours. Look, anytime 880 gets into your hair, I mean, anytime you want to drop it.
Drop it? Why?
Well, I don't want to see you make a career of it. After all, there are more important things than...
There's an irate citizen outside from Coney Island brought in this 880. Says he can give us a perfect description of the passer.
No, sir, Thad. I'm not dropping this yet.
I break for a sandwich, see, and I'm counting up, and here's this phonus balonus. Quick as a flash, I know who it is. He's a wise guy, see? There he is. That's him. That's a dirty crook. Called me a fake. How do you like that? He's with his tomato, see? And he says...
Charlie.
If I huh?
If it's this crook, he's already under arrest. Thanks for reporting to us. He's a very dangerous character.
20 years I've been in this
Well,
business.
this is one for the book.
But he was there, Thad. He was there. He was in Borough Park on schedule and now Coney Island. At least we know we're on the right track. In fact, we're one jump ahead of him. His next stop is Bay Ridge. If we don't get him in Bay Ridge, we'll get him in Bensonhurst. If not Bensonhurst...
Think you can handle this alone, just you and Mac?
Sure, sure. Look, let me handle it. I'll talk to those cashiers. I'll give them a going over they'll never forget. Where are those cards? One of these will be placed in every cash register between Bay Ridge and Canarsie.
Chet, come on, hurry up. Okay, just a minute.
Und der Staat New York, da durch den
Well, oh, hello, Mary.
mit genügend
just a
Wasser
minute. All right.
versorgen wird.
Dankeschön. Sehr verehrter Good Eis.
Dankeschön.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Seeing the 25 cents more. Just a moment.
Counterfeit? Warning. Hard to identify.
I shall have to look for some. 25 cents. Thank you, Mary. Oh, this is yours. Just a moment, sir. Thank you. Hey, wait a minute, mister. Hey, you. Oh, hey, Joe. Joe, come here, quick. Look. Look.
Hiya, Skipper.
Goodbye, Henry.
Are you sure you don't want a drink?
No, thanks. It's a great help knowing his age and that he's German.
I guess it's just a matter of time now.
Nice to know you.
Where are we going tonight?
I can't get away from the idea that he still lives in this neighborhood. Chances are that's where you got those 2 bills.
Don't you ever relax?
That old boy, what's his name? Kimmel. Fellow runs a stationery store. Do you know anything about him?
Nothing, except he's a sweet old man. You'd suspect anybody, wouldn't you?
He's got a German accent.
There's a home for the aged around the corner. It's full of old men with German accents.
I've already been there.
You weren't. I could very easily learn to dislike you. Oh, please. Night, Skipper.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch, Herr Muller? It was just a shot in the dark.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Yes. Oh, I knew this would happen. I knew once he got started, he'd never quit. What a waste of talent.
Well, maybe you'll take the assignment overseas. I told him to think about it.
Okay, I'll take another crack at him and call you back. Right, sir.
Yes, sir?
Is Mr. Buchanan here?
He's in the file room, sir.
I'll get him. Steve.
Hello, Pat.
How are you? Steve, Mac has asked to be taken off the case. After all, there hasn't been an 880 come in quite a while now.
I guess the old firehouse wants some action.
I sent him out with Ole this morning. They're rounding up the Baroda mob. Should be coming in any minute now.
Anything else?
No. How was Washington?
Hot. I suppose you'd like to know why the chief sent for me. It's about a deal in France.
France?
There's a popular demand for the American dollar in Europe right now. Outfit in Marseille figures on satisfying it.
Sounds like big stuff. When are you leaving?
Well, I don't know. Chief said if I didn't want the assignment, I didn't have to take it.
You take it, Steve. This deal probably involves millions. After all, 880 is just...
880's a counterfeiter. He's breaking the law. If we can't stop him, we might as well close shop.
Yes?
They have the Barodas here.
Okay.
Quiet!
Pasquale.
I'm not talking to you.
Giovanni.
Giovanni.
Pasquale, te l'ho visto la prima volta.
Hey, Steve!
Giovanni.
Baroda mob. We caught them red-handed with a box full of phony tens.
Nice work, Mac.
We got the plates, too. Come on. Now, listen, I don't want to waste any more time with you guys. I want the truth.
Mind what I say now. You get up in that United Nations and you tell them what I said. 1 week of silence. That's what they need. The more jabbering they do, the more arguments they get into. I'm Irish. I know.
Morning.
Well, somebody's in a big hurry.
He's got